algebra. It's Mrs. Crayer. All right. It's been crazy. I don't want to rehash everything. I'm starting this packet. We started it in class. I am going to recap the first few days. I really hope everybody's doing well. I'm not happy about what's going on right now, but you know what? There's nothing we can do. I feel like all my algebra students have worked really hard this year, so it's like really making me sad that like we can't just, finish out the year in a quote unquote normal way. But we're here, okay? We're here. And I cannot send you to 10th grade without you knowing how to solve a quadratic, which is this packet right here. Okay, so we're moving on. Okay, we're moving on. I'm going to recap some of the stuff. Okay, I'm going to go through this fast because I had a video for this. You guys did well with it. I recapped it the next day. You did well with it, so I just picked and chose. I don't think I said that right. Whatever. I picked a few problems. I'm going to run through them kind of fast. I'll go slower once we get to like brand new stuff. Okay, this is a trinomial. It's a quadratic because we have an x squared. A is 12, B is 5, and C is -2. Keep in mind, your quadratic is ax squared plus bx plus c. That's why I'm figuring out what's A, what's B, what's C. We're factoring. Keeping in mind, when we factor, we're multiplying A and C and putting it on the top. B is going on the bottom. Oh, my calculator's so far away. Got it. That reminds you of my classroom, doesn't it? Okay. Now, this is our trick. We're going to take 24. We're not going to use the negative. We're going to divide it by x. We're going to go to the table, and we're going to start at 1. And we're going to look. We're not looking for perfect squares when we're doing this. Sometimes we are, but not for this. We're looking for the factors, the numbers that work out nice. And I want to get a 5. So as soon as I see 8 and 3, I know I can get a 5 out of that. So I'm coming over here, 8, 3. I want a positive 5 and a negative 24. So that's going to give me a negative 24. That's going to give me a positive 5 when I add. Okay. Coming down here. Not yet. Sometimes I jump the gun here. I got to come back up here. 12x squared plus 8x minus 3x minus 2. These two numbers were to replace this middle term. Because once we have that middle term replaced, now we can just do our grouping. And the grouping, oh my gosh, everybody was so good at the grouping. Like, I think it was like 100% amongst everybody on the quiz. Okay, so I got to pick out a GCF here. This can be sometimes tricky. So what's the GCF between 12 and 8? If you're struggling, you'd use your calculator. I can take out a 4 there and an x. What would I have left here? Well, I would need a 3x to multiply to get that to be 12x squared. Here, I would need a 2. There, that's negative, that's not, so I would need a -1. Double check the last one, make sure it works. It does. Yay. 4x minus 1 is one of my factors, and 3x plus 2 is one of my factors. And we're done, because it just says to factor. Okay? Okay, simplifying a radical. This is where we need to pick the biggest perfect square. So we can use our calculator again. Same little trick. 32 divided by x. Make sure you're starting at 1. First perfect square you come across is the biggest perfect square. So you have to know your perfect squares. Sometimes people will be like 8. Like 8's not a perfect square. 4 is, but it's not the biggest. 16 is the biggest perfect square. So 16 goes into this twice. Notice I put the perfect square first. The square root of 16 is 4. So my final answer when I simplify it is 4 square root of 2. Okay. You don't have to redo these problems. You just have to be like, go along and say, yep, that makes sense. I remember that. And if you don't, then maybe you can go back in and try some of the ones I'm not doing. I also said, okay, this is the start of solving. Once we get it factored, which is what I just did on the other page, we will now have it equal to 0. And that's really important because now I'm taking each factor and setting it equal to 0. Add 1 to both sides. Divide by 3. Yay! Okay, so those would be our solutions. If I plug in -1/2 here, I'd get 0. 0 times anything is 0. If I plug in 1/3 here, I'd get 0. 0 times anything is 0. So those are the solutions. Those are the numbers that make it work. I'm working backwards because I just realized I highlighted this one. What number makes it a perfect square trinomial? My bathroom's getting worked on right now. That's why if you hear banging, that's what that is, okay? All right. 14 is our B term. We want to take the B, we want to cut it in half, and we want to square it. So 14 cut in half and squaring it. So that means it's 7 squared. 7 squared is 49. 49 is the magic number that makes this a perfect square trinomial. Why is that a perfect square trinomial? Because it can be written as x plus 7 squared. If I do the box, multiply it out, bloop, 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 I'm going to get x squared plus 14x plus 49. Okay, those were all just like skills we're going to need. Day 2. So that day, if you remember, the one day I already did, that was the day I was at curriculum writing, and you guys did that. Oh, I didn't make a video. I just thought that those were problems you guys could do on your own, and you guys did pretty well. Day 2, I was back. Okay, so factoring. Major thing, get it equal to 0. It's not equal to 0. When you get it equal to 0, it's going to help tremendously if we can keep our x squared term positive. Okay, none of these are like terms. X squared, x, no x. Okay, once it's equal to 0, now we go through the whole factoring thing. -28, -3. This is going to be a -7 and a +4. So it's going to be x squared minus 7x plus 4x minus 28 equals 0. These two replace this guy so that we can just do our grouping. You've heard me say a ton of times, I love when that's just an x, because it makes this part super fast and super easy. The last one I did was a 12, so that took a little, a little more time to think about it. This is going to be x plus 4x minus 7. When we get it factored, oh, that's a 0. T-chart. And there's my solutions. Yay, factoring, solving by factoring. Day 3 was just more solving. I didn't get that far. Again, I want to get it equal to 0. Keeping the x squared positive, so 16x squared minus 64 equals 0. Always look for a GCF first, okay? The fact that 16 goes into both of those, I can't take out an x because they don't both have an x, but I can take out a 16. After I take out a 16, I have left x squared minus 4. Okay, this is where you can go off to the side and do 16x squared minus 64 and take out your 16 and realize that's that. If you don't need that anymore, if you're getting good at this, you can write it like that. D2PS. You got to recognize your perfect squares. Square root of x squared is x. Square root of 4 is 2. One's a plus, one's a minus. T-chart. 16 equals 0 goes away. I get x equals -2 right here. X equals 2 there. Solutions. Okay. Now, this guy. This is actually a really long problem. Here's why. I have to multiply this out. I have to multiply this out first because of that 8x. I want a trinomial that looks like, kind of like that after I subtract the 50. You know, after I subtract the 50, I've got x squared plus 3x minus 54, and we're ready to go. We're ready to start factoring. Sorry, the light's kind of weird. This one, I can't get it to look like that until I multiply this out. So I have to go through this whole process. I guess that didn't take that long. I kind of did that fast. Now I'm getting it equal to 0. It is going to be a long problem though still. Now, why did I move these over to that side? Because I want to keep my x squared positive. So this is giving me x squared plus 6x plus 5. And now from here, I'm in the boat where I'm like, okay, I need to multiply to 5, add to 6. That's going to be a 5 and a 1, both positive. That doesn't, yeah, multiply to 5, sorry. Multiply to 5, add to 6. Multiply, add, yes, good. X squared plus 5x plus 1x plus 5. Take out an x, plus 5 plus 1. Sorry, this is a little messy. X plus 5, x plus 1 equals 0. Solving it. One-handed. So that's a lot. That's about, there was one on the exam like that one time. That's about as much work as one of these would be. You have to multiply it out. You have to get it equal to 0. Full factoring. Finish solving. Okay? I'm going to end this video just because it's getting long here. This is our recap of pages 1 through 6. You guys can try this one. I know we didn't get to that in class. And maybe if you want to go back and try 3, okay? And if you want to, you could try 2, although I think we did that one in class. Let's keep it easy. Let's try 3 and 6, okay? And I posted the blank copy so you can just write them down. You know, if you don't have the packet, you can just write them down on a sheet of paper and try them. My next video will start here, okay? And just to give you a heads up, we're not going to be multiplying that out. This is actually not going to be that hard to solve. Why did this one have so much work? Because in this one, there's an 8x here. There's another x here. In this one, I only have x minus 4 squared. So this is going to be pretty easy to solve. You're going to want to watch me do it, and there's a few to practice. But this, don't start doing this thinking it's the same thing as this, because it's not. Okay? All right, I will start with page 7 in my next video. Hopefully that wasn't too fast, and hopefully everybody just thought that was a recap, okay? And we weren't like, oh, that was all brand new information. All right. Hopefully everybody's doing well. Bye.